Hi everyone, welcome back. It's my Swedish Whiskey Girl. Today I'm here with this little sample, which is the Blackpitts from Teeling Distillery. So this is one of their most recent releases and it's peated. So I think, what did they say? The first copper pot still, triple distilled, peated Irish whiskey, I believe. So yeah, it's quite fascinating. I know Teeling is a distillery that I have tried some whiskies before, and they've all been really interesting and lovely. Oh, and of course, this bottle also sits at about £50, and it is 46% and non-chill filtered, and a non-age statement, of course, as well. Two-thirds of the casks were ex-bourbon, and 1/3 was ex-Sauternes casks. So yeah, it's fascinating. The Blackpitts name also comes and takes inspiration from an area behind the distillery called the Blackpitts, which used to have a lot of malting floors back in the day. So yeah, an interesting one. Let's have a little look on the nose. Makes me think of coal and barbecues. But it also has a different sweetness to it. Almost a bit like a forest after rainfall. So it was like a vegetal fresh note. Yeah, quite foresty smoke. And coal. More of a gentler smoke than something like perhaps an Islay whiskey. But not really as salty as, for example, a Talisker or another island whiskey if you're comparing it to Scotland. Let's just have a little sip. Sláinte. They're quite gentle. It's a lot of the similar experience as what I got on the nose I'm getting on the palate. Yeah, it's not overly bitter, but it has a slight bitter element. It's a little bit vegetal, a little bit that kind of fresh after rainfall vibe. The spirit's very kind of soft when you're drinking it. It doesn't feel sharp at all. And the smoke is quite coal-esque, I would say, quite dark smoke. Like maybe when you've burned bacon, a little bit like that. Definitely has a different character to it than most smoky whiskies that I'm used to. I'm just trying to pinpoint exactly what it is, but I think if there's someone who, because it's still very much the smoke that is the dominant thing. So if you like a smoky whiskey but you're looking for something different, this definitely is a curious one. No, there's another peated Irish whiskey called Connemara, which I'm sure a lot of people have tried. I've tried it once in a bar, but I can't remember what it was exactly like. I wonder have you maybe tried Connemara and the Blackpitts? What did you think in comparison? Almost a bit pine-esque. But it does have almost a metallic note as well, like the back of a spoon. Mixing in, so the first thing is the smoke, which is quite coaly and dark, and a bit like burnt bacon. And then you have, because there's slightly meatiness to it, but then you also have that kind of metallic note going alongside the vegetal forest after rainfall, which definitely gives an interesting character. Yeah, and I think that metallic meets forest after rainfall notes is what really makes it unique. That's the very kind of essence of it. And you can get it on the nose now as well. I mean, peated whiskies from various countries really intrigue me, because It's interesting to see what a spirit made in another country or another distillery on another type of still or gone through another type of cask. What will happen to the smoke if you use peat maybe from Scotland, maybe you use it from your local peat bog perhaps, and just to see how different they can be. Oh, I think that's quite fascinating because I've tried a few different Swedish peated whiskies and they have their own character, very much so. And then of course Scottish peated whiskies are quite a classic. And then I've tried a peated not a peated bourbon, but peated American whiskey. And that was also very, very different to everything else I'm used to. So it's definitely fascinating seeing peat peak up in other countries as well. Because of course peated whiskies have a very big following, and I know a lot of people that like peated whiskey, they absolutely love peated whiskey. I'm also searching for the Sauternes influence. I don't think there's anything that stands out that just screams Sauternes. It's not overly sweet. It's not overly kind of those Sauternes aromas coming through. But I'm sure, of course, they are doing something, maybe rounding off the edges, for example, just kind of doing its own little thing, which is why they've chosen them in combination with the ex-bourbon. I had the pleasure of listening into a tasting with the team at Teeling the other day, and it's very fascinating listening to them talk about it, because they do take a big care in their casks, and they wouldn't bottle it unless they thought it was ready, but I know they're also doing a lot of experimentation with different types of casks. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting one. I mean, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Have you tried the Teeling Blackpitts? Have you tried any of their other whiskies? I have reviewed a few of them before, so if you're curious about those, then check them out. And of course, if you like what I'm doing here on YouTube and my other social channels, I'd be absolutely over the moon if you consider using my affiliate links the next time you're shopping with either Master Malt, the Whisky Exchange, or the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. All the information and the link to my other social channels are in the link here below. And for example, if you're looking for maybe some Christmas gifts for a whiskey enthusiast in your life, then check out my Teespring shop for some whiskey merch. As always, a massive thank you to my wonderful supporters on Patreon. I'm so grateful you want to continue to support me on my whiskey journey. But I hope you've all had an absolutely wonderful day. Sláinte Skål.